My people make we shout, oh yeah yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah yeah. Mayegun the command of the masses, oh yeah yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah yeah. Mayegun they are the political, oh yeah yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah yeah. This one not they off in mind, oh yeah yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah yeah. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yeah yeah. Mayegun don't come, oh yeah yeah. My people make you shout, oh yeah.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo, la mo to do. Mayegun la wa mo, la mo to do.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us now. It is Mayegun's brunch time live. Please, as you know, right, this is an open mic session, okay? We have two parts. Now we do have two parts. So the first one is just to give you the appetizer of any updates happening in Nigeria. The second part is dedicated to us reading at least a chapter from our selected book. Right now, we are reading The White Malice, and that's going to be us continuing from chapter 8, chapter 9 as well, if time permits. But before then, Subsidy is back, even though it never left. Wale Edun, the finance minister of Nigeria, has come out to say they actually paid over 3.6 trillion naira on subsidy in 2023. Please share this broadcast, invite your friends and your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayeguti. So let's kind of save our time, okay? Because we are starting kind of late. It's like 20 minutes late. Anyway, it is just an update, okay? The finance minister of Nigeria, who happened to be one of those that have been championing the lie that the reason why you are going through what you are going through in Nigeria right now is because it is necessary. Nigeria cannot afford to pay subsidy anymore. And that was kind of like a plausible when they were making that stupid, fraudulent argument. Logically, the corruption around the subsidy payment in Nigeria is so obvious, and it is more or less like every government in Nigeria since they started paying that subsidy. Every government, every successive government in Nigeria is interested in stealing their own money through that same subsidy, every one of them. But under the APC, where the whole thing got really, really scary, Bokwari who came and told you what was subsidy. Subsidy is a scam. It is a scam of the rich. It is like a coup or a treason against the country. But the criminal politicians who were supposed to actually really stop it and end it, they were not interested. But everyone would love the politics around it. I mean, I do remember. Do you remember this? When the guys who fought against the removal of subsidy in 2012, then came in 2024, 12 years after that, sorry, 2023, 11 years after that, to say, oh, it's been removed. But it wasn't. And I remember at the time telling you that Tinubu is not removing subsidy. He is only replacing those who are accessing that fraud, that scam. It is like this. The NNPC Nigeria is the one that have the right to bring refined products into Nigeria. However, this NNPC now give this license to their friends, including Dangote, the man that was supposed to complete a refinery that will stop the importation of fuel into Nigeria. Now, you see, they know those who they gave the license to bring fuel into Nigeria. Also, the same NNPC is meant to pay for the subsidized products. Remember, their friends are the importers. They are the importers. So if their friends come back and say, oh, it's going to be 1 trillion naira, it is just them. So what did Tinubu do? He replaced those beneficiaries. The money has to come to him and his own friends. Robbing Nigeria under Bokwari was for Bokwari, his family, and friends, obviously. So when Tinubu said subsidy was gone, he wasn't talking to you, the typical Nigerians who love to lie to themselves. No, he wasn't talking to you. He was actually talking to those who are being paid that money. Then they were replaced, and the payments continued. In fact, IMF said, the same IMF giving him money and also setting the monetary policy for Nigeria, the interest rate, the tax collection, and the rest of that. The same IMF came out and said, this subsidy is not gone. No. In fact, Nigeria is paying more for subsidy. You were supposed to be paying less for petrol. Yeah, for fuel in Nigeria. Because you know something? Under Bokwari, Bokwari was paying over 400 billion naira every month just to make sure that you were buying the fuel at 167 naira per liter. That's how much they were sharing just to ensure that. Then this Bewiri, Agbero, druggy came on and said it's gone. And right there and then, the price of petroleum jumped by over 400%. And it affected everything up to this day, up to this moment. Well, isn't that a betrayal of trust? I am talking to those of you who believe that Tinubu removed subsidy, right? Like those of you who have pushed the argument, man, it's needed to be removed. Let us be honest. It's just that they did not plan well. I'm talking about those of you who have been trying to hide behind. It's a good thing to be removed. It's a very good thing. The only reason why they don't like Tinubu is because he removed subsidy. It was never removed. Isn't that going to sound like or isn't that a betrayal of trust? There are people suffered for nothing. And they are still suffering now. And they should know it is also for nothing. Isn't that a betrayal of trust? I mean, I will be betrayed if I have been everywhere explaining to people, right? That, listen, let us be honest. This subsidy is a scam. Nobody, you know, let them remove it and use the money to fund education, to fund health care, to fund infrastructure. Was that not what they told you they were going to use the money for? How come none of them has been able to come out and tell you how much they have saved from subsidy? To cover or to save face, they started printing money. Tinubu has printed over 20 trillion naira. Are you listening? Yes. They have printed over 20 trillion naira just to cover face, to tell you that the subsidy that we removed is not that we are saving the money per se. But have you noticed that the states are getting more money now? Along Oba, God in wherever you are. How could you let the people be so gullible and misled that they believe the word of these rogues? Because listen, Emefiole printed money that was not tied to anything. And that triggered hyperinflation in Nigeria. 27.5 trillion naira, $50 billion. And nobody, not a single person, can come out and say, this is what the money was used for. Everybody is hearing they printed money, They shared it, printed money, shared it. But nobody is able to come out and say, oh yeah, we were able to trace 5 trillion of the money. This is what they used it for. In this state, in that local government, in this part, no. So that money was pumped into Nigeria with nothing attached to it. Money is everywhere, but money is valueless everywhere. So Tinubu and gang came in order to, that is their own economics, their own economic policy, to reduce that so much money in the Nigerian circulation. So they said they were doing cashless policy, which Emefiole also did. Emefiole was lying to them that he was doing cashless policy, but he was printing cash that they were sharing to between the Bokwari, his family members, the state governors, and their family members. And as they were receiving the money, they were converting it to any available dollars. Businessmen and women who were really those who bring in goods and services to Nigeria, they were scrambling for dollars. Why the rogues, once Emefiole printed money and they handed it to them, they bagged the money, went straight, go straight to their partners in the banks, okay? Exchange it to dollars out of Nigeria. Nigeria Central Bank was emptied of forex by those rogues. But the naira was everywhere. It got so bad. People were using naira to buy naira inside Nigeria. They are still doing it now. So to cut this too much money, according to this Kadobi and his gang, they now made a policy that all the banks in Nigeria, you must keep 40% of your depositors' money with the central bank. So which means to reduce the money in circulation. That is the belief that some of you economic students probably felt like, yeah, that's a good, yeah. But you have no idea that these rogues are also printing money at the same time. They said, no, we are not printing money. But in January, they came out and they said, oh, we gave Tinubu 9.7 trillion, nearly 10 trillion. That was the time I was saying they've printed over 15 trillion. They came out just in January. And they said, yeah, but we loaned the federal government of Tinubu 9.7 trillion naira, nearly 10 trillion naira. That's the printed money. Yeah, that's printed money. Print it and hand it over. Print it and hand it over to them. So they were sharing money, and the states, indeed, some states were getting more money. But these are printed money. This is not money made from taxes. This is not money made from, sales or any production at all. This is printed money. The real money that is supposed to be the legitimate money, including taxes and all of that, they have become so peanuts that Nigerians have become so poor, that the government of Nigeria has become so poor too. People don't pay taxes. Person when know they work, no they pay tax. They can see those of you who are still paying, they can still fool you as much as they like. Very soon you will not be able to, they will not even have anything to squeeze from you anymore. And they will go and print money. So as they are printing, they are sharing that to look good on paper. But do you see the betrayal of trust here? You are suffering because subsidy was removed. You are suffering because you were told that some few people are benefiting from the subsidy and it's not helping the people. You agreed. You were speaking grammar, left, right, and center. Some of you actually were still repeating the same thing. That is because of subsidy. But yet, the finance minister of Nigeria has now come out to say between June and December 2023, they actually paid 3.8 trillion naira on subsidy. And yet, you were buying a liter for over 700 naira per liter. Because subsidy was gone. The price of your cooking gas jumped. The price of transportation quadrupled. Cost of living crisis hit every one of you because subsidy was gone. And anybody who don't like it, then they can go and do whatever they like. Abi, it is a sacrifice for Nigeria. It is something that everybody needs to pay now. Children are starving. Children are hungry. Children are dying. You know, people are dying because of this economic policy that is not actually going to benefit you in the long run, only for them to come back later and say, oh, yeah, we're paying subsidy. In fact, we paid 3.8 trillion last year. 7 months, they paid 3.8 trillion. This year, they said they are planning to spend 5.4 trillion on subsidy. But guess what? Before December 2024, you are going to pay over 1,000 naira to a liter of petroleum inside that contraption. And they are still going to say to you, it is because subsidy was gone. I don't know how it is so easy for people to be deceived that much. But if you need to study how people could be so gullible and so blinded simply because of their biases, they could suffer it. They want to suffer it. It's fine. They know what they are doing. No, they don't. They don't know what they are doing. You see all those businesses that are living? Many more are still going to leave. Many more jobs are still going to be lost. Poverty is going to become something that, and they believe they can continue to weaponize it. And that's going to be their greatest undoing. Every signal coming from all over the world, reputable agencies, reputable platforms are saying Nigeria faces food, Nigeria faces a starvation simply because of food shortages. People are not going to be able to actually really feed in some part of Nigeria, especially the northern part of Nigeria. Scary reports. But you know the economic policies of these guys. Let us go and buy more rice and share the rice. Oh, let us give some poor people money to go and buy food. We know that the most important thing to Nigerians right now is food. Oh, then let us be the ones to give them that food. Sort of. That is the only solution. It is so scary that they are lying to you. And listen, I can possibly ignore those who have nothing to lose. I am talking to those of you who have actually worked so hard to get to wherever you are in the face of that economic imbalance, where you have economic jackass. Rather than solve a problem, right, they aggravate it. Because by aggravating the problem, they can profit from it. Those who are so consistent in profiting from your misery, you watch them, they lie to you, okay, with bold face. And their lies are not harmless lies. These are lies that are ruining lives. Economy policy that destroy jobs, businesses, they destroy lives too. They break families. And there they are. Yeah, we've been paying. No sorry, no nothing, just to say President Tinubu just want to make sure that they continue to make it look like they are helping you. Have you not noticed? Have you not noticed the way they talk? It is like they are helping you. And most of you are just ungrateful. They are lying to you. They are destroying lives. They are not taking responsibility because they will never take responsibility. But you do know where the shoe pinches, don't you? Of course you do. And that is why I believe that nobody can be enslaved in this day and time without their consent. A lot of you have been psychologically defeated, unfortunately, and you've surrendered. You have no fighting spirit in you anymore. Whatever they have, they can throw them at you. Maybe you can take it. Maybe you can't. The only thing is that you probably don't have that fighting spirit. You don't even know if it is worth fighting for and standing up against these guys and say, come on, guys. Like, do you actually really sit in this your echo chamber, in that your asshole rock, and then you just believe that you are talking to stupid people? A supposed country that claim to be educated with high rate of educated people, literacy. And yet you see these charlatans, you see these economic saboteurs, these dream killers, play you about as if to say, indeed, we are all dumb. He just dropped the statement last night simply because, well, breaking news, Tinubu's ordered him to bring you a new minimum wage in the next 48 hours. So he had to come out and tell you that, okay, yeah, we've been paying subsidy. I mean, Wale Edun says they have been paying subsidy. And all of this death, all of this starvation, all this economic ruin and destruction, this cost of living crisis, right? Caused by them saying they removed subsidy. Only for you to know that you are actually going to be spending more than 15 trillion naira, 15 trillion naira on subsidy in just 18 months. Because that's what's going to happen. By December, the entire money they will spend on subsidy is expected to be around 15 trillion naira printed money. They went to the Afrexim Bank. I remember raising that here, and a lot of you know that. They went to the Afrexim Bank to go and borrow 3.3 billion naira. And they said they were using that to defend the naira. No, they were not defending any naira. What they were doing was to say they wanted to reduce the pressure on the demand of that naira. And where is that pressure coming from? Oil importers. They are those who take the chunk of the forex in Nigeria. They are. It is, man, it is like the endless pool of illicit fund, blood money, that nobody will stop. I mean, they will never stop until somebody stops them. And I don't know how to actually break that down for you. Man, they went to Afrexim Bank to borrow 3.3 billion because they wanted to give dollar subsidy to the fuel importers, NNPC. They borrowed the money. NNPC facilitated the loan. Oh, sorry. Yeah. NNPC facilitated the loan. This guy, Tony Elumelu, of, is that UBA, right? Played the role of the middleman with his 10% intact. $3.3 billion. Money that was not meant for any development in Nigeria, but money meant to defend the Nigerian naira from getting to 5,000 naira to $1. So they decided to start giving this money to their friends. Yes, dollar subsidy from September. They got 2 billion, Baba. These guys used $12 billion worth of crude oil from Niger Delta, Nigeria, as collateral for a loan of 3.3 billion. That if Nigeria failed to pay back that money in 5 years, which is going to be 2028, the lender, Afrexim Bank, they have the right to bring in their friends into the creek of Niger Delta and begin to extract the crude oil from that place. They have the right to take 67